For reasons that utterly escape everyone involved, you're listening to a bipolar, a schizophrenic, and a podcast. Here are your hosts, Gabe Howard and Michelle Hammer.
Hey everybody, you are listening to a bipolar, a schizophrenic, and a podcast. I'm the bipolar one. My name is Gabe.
Hi, I'm Michelle. I'm schizophrenic.
Michelle, we are talking about people who are toxic for our mental health on this episode. Isn't that kind of weird? Like people who are toxic for our mental health. Another way to say that is like jerks. Like how to cut assholes out of our lives.
I mean, yeah, some people, they suck.
They do.
They suck and they just need to go. Like sometimes you just got to be like, chop, 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 bye.
Chop, 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 bye?
Chop, chop, bye.
Chop, chop, bye.
Chop, chop, bye, bye.
Like slap chop?
Slap chop?
Remember that guy?
Oh, yeah, the slap chop.
Yeah.
I don't have one.
I think your painting just fell over, Michelle.
You did not hang it nicely.
Hey, you're lucky I have one at all. Michelle, everybody has toxic people in their lives. It's interesting that we're discussing this like from the vantage point of people living with mental illness, because all of us, I mean, it doesn't matter if you have mental illness or not, toxic people exist in everybody's lives.
Everybody does have toxic people in their lives. Some people can handle that, but why would you want, why do you have to keep toxic people around? I guess if you're related. Right?
You're related.
That's the only reason to keep somebody toxic around. Like if you have to see them at family events and stuff like that. But I mean, other than that, bye-bye.
Do you think our parents are at home like we have to keep Gabe and Michelle around because they're in our lives, even though they're messed up?
Maybe at some point in my life.
Let's talk about straight up the people that we need to get rid of because they are bad for our mental health. And managing our mental health is kind of a full-time job.
I would have to agree. It's my number one job is managing my mental health.
Yeah. Okay.
Number two job is taking a shower.
The number two job is taking a shower?
No,
Where is podcasting on that list? The answer is you don't consider that a job, right? Like, this isn't work.
You know, find a job that you love. You'll never work a day in your life.
I hate that saying. I don't believe that making your hobby your job makes you love your job. I believe that it makes you hate your hobby.
I actually would have to agree with that. Actually, yes, agreed. Agreed, check yes.
You also shouldn't podcast with your friends because it makes you hate your friends.
That can happen too,
I
yes.
hate you.
I hate Vin.
Whoa.
Don't
you don't
tell him.
podcast with Vin?
I know, I'm just kidding.
I think it's funny that you're like, don't tell him when you said it live on a show. You're really banking the fact that he doesn't listen.
This is how we'll know if Vin listens.
That's true. We should also plant things in there like, Mom, I hate you. Now I'll know if she listens because she'll be like, that was mean. Why'd you say that on your show?
Right. What if I said how old my mother was right now?
62.
Nope.
70.
Younger.
51.
Older.
32.
Older.
7.
Older.
95.
Younger.
10.
Older.
Bat symbol.
Robin.
Michelle, tell us about the person that you had to cut out of your life because they were toxic.
Oh, children. Everybody knows those girls in high school. Those girls in high school that just think they're better than other girls for no reason, even though they just are worthless pieces of shit. They love to pretend they're better than you. They like to insult you. Even when you're ridiculously thin, they call you fat. Even when you have muscles from playing sports, they say, stop playing sports, you're getting muscular, and boys don't like muscular girls. And they say, when you say you think that guy is hot and you want to make out with him, they'll say to you, the question is, does he want to make out with you?
Do you say it in this tone? Like, I don't know what kind of high school you went to, but
no,
this...
I'm pretending I'm at Masterpiece Theater right now.
Oh, yeah. Because that's what we're doing right now, Masterpiece Theater.
Masterpiece Theater, I'm telling a story.
I'm sorry, continue with this.
After one night of just nonsense, there was a fight, and after years of knowing this person since kindergarten and defending and always just being a friend, even though she was horribly mean to me, she didn't take my side in a fight. So I decided at that moment I was never going to talk to her again. Senior year of high school, right at the very end, I don't have to see her again ever. So I decided to cut her out of my life completely. I only ever had to see her at a shiva and a graduation party. But about
Okay,
a year
hang
ago,
on,
I get an
hang
email.
on, No. You're
What?
you're glossing over some stuff here.
What?
You just this was like you're just like, I knew her since kindergarten. Like that was nothing. I mean, you just kind of like in one sentence skipped over like what 10 years of friendship. You knew this person for a long time.
Right. We went to Hebrew school together.
Right.
We went to elementary school, middle school, high school. We went to each other's bat mitzvahs. We knew each other for a long time, but throughout all this whole time,
You got boobs
she was
together. I mean, these are
and
some...
she would constantly, tell us how her boobs were, better than ours, that she looked like a model and we did not, and just insult us. But we would always go back and be her friend because
You just assumed
that was
you'd
just
grow
the
out
thing.
of it, right?
Yeah,
you just kind of
yeah.
figured like stasis would be
But it
reached.
just came to a head where after years of defending her to everybody, being like, she's not that bad, just whatever, it's okay. She didn't take my side in a fight. So
you felt like she was disloyal.
So she after how many years of loyalty, she didn't take my side. But on top of
And
it,
she bullied you.
she bullied me like
for
crazy.
many years,
telling me that I was very short, I needed to lose weight, I should stop playing lacrosse because it made me too muscular, because boys don't like that, she said. But I also had to lose weight more and more and more because, it's fatness is really ugly, even though I was way thinner than she was. But then she would tell me that my boobs weren't big enough because they're not really good, and also telling me how much I should just I look like a man because I don't put any makeup on and I wear my hair up. But if I wore my hair down and put makeup on, I could kind of be pretty.
What year did this fight happen?
2006.
Okay, so you got in a fight in 2006, and then 10 years later, 2016,
yes, in
she sends you a
2016,
Facebook message.
I get a Facebook message.
All right, and the Facebook message says,
"Hey, Michelle. I wanted to share with you that I'm so proud of your transformation and what you've done with the mental health issues. It's a huge issue in America, not just New York City, and something I've dealt with my entire life. I realize your bullying of me when we were kids might have been less personal for me and more about you taking out your anger and dealing with what you were going through. But I have had anxiety since I was 10 and found solace in therapy and medicine. It's been a hard battle to convince people of what goes on in my mind because they can't see it. I had a boyfriend years ago who didn't understand why I take medication. He kept saying, 'You're fine.' Little did he know the medication is what was keeping me fine. Had I had diabetes or something more visible, he blah, blah, blah." You get my point?
I think the thing that we can agree that mental illness is not taken seriously in America and is a big problem everywhere and outside of New York City. So,
okay, yes,
so I'm,
yes.
I'm kind of guessing that this is not the part that is upsetting you.
Yes.
It's the part where she says you bullied her.
Yes.
And she didn't acknowledge that she bullied you.
Yes.
Is it possible that she's being sincere, or do you just think she's dense?
She's insane. She's absolutely insane, psychotic.
Okay, she's
Okay.
not insane or psychotic, Michelle.
I understand. I have a mental illness. I guess she has anxiety, but she has something else if she thinks that was the situation.
You're saying you think she's schizophrenic?
Beyond something even more beyond, I don't even know. She's on Mars, because if she believes that's what the situation was, she lives on planet Mars or something further away in the galaxy.
Because you never bullied her.
Maybe in retorts to, you would be pretty if you put some makeup on, I would say, shut the fuck up.
Is it possible that she was trying to help you? And I know telling somebody to put on makeup is not helpful, but is there a world in which she was?
Because,
I mean,
no, because it was like, well, if you put makeup on, also, you would look less like a lesbian, because if you dress different and you put makeup on, you look less like a lesbian. Like, you do look like a lesbian. Yeah, you should have really not looked like that. Like, yeah, my mom, she's a doctor, and she said you're a lesbian, even though her mother wasn't a doctor. It was a physician's assistant, which I understand is a good profession, but still not a doctor.
I think that it's interesting that in your rant you took time to acknowledge that anything in the medical field is good. Like, I can't help but
because I know it's a really hard job too, and I have to acknowledge that, and I know that I could not be a PA because I'm not intelligent or driven enough. But
it's the driven. You are definitely intelligent enough.
You're still lying about the profession. If it was as good as if it was the same as a doctor, you wouldn't be lying about the position, would you? Would you also lie and say you live in a different area code to make yourself look more rich? Yes, she did that too. Case in point, I cut her out of my life and I've never been happier.
Really? At 18 years old, when you cut her out of your life, you didn't go to a psychiatric facility several times. You didn't get almost kicked off the lacrosse team. You didn't think that your mother was trying to kill you and then thought that your roommate was trying to kill you. So really, the core component and crux of all your problems was this woman.
Fuck up.
Do you think maybe you're seeing this incorrectly?
I'm not
saying this woman is not a problem. I'm not saying that she wasn't rude, but you've really built this up in your head to your life would be perfect if this one person, when you were a child, didn't piss you off.
It just gives me such pleasure to not be friends with her, to not have attended her wedding, to not be there when she gets divorced.
So you're already wishing a divorce on her?
I don't wish a divorce on her. I'm just, saying the inevitable.
The inevitable?
You know what I'm trying to say. That word.
That word.
That inevitable.
Inevitable. I like how I make fun of you for minutes. All right, you win this round, Michelle. But listen, you needed to let it go. And it sounds like, be honest.
Well, I'll tell you, I did not even respond to that.
But you're still mad about it. Like, when are you going to let her stop living rent-free in your head?
Well, sometimes, I'll see her in my Instagram feed.
What? You can control that.
No, but it's like other people from high school. One person from high school. One person from high school will put her in her Instagram feed. Ugh.
Okay.
Ugh.
Real talk.
What?
You're a 30-year-old woman. Why are you still pissed off at the chick from high school? I mean, come on. Yeah, fine. She was insufferable. She was horrible. She called you names. And it sounds like a couple of years ago that her way of reaching out just proves that she hasn't changed much. She hasn't grown. But why are you still mad at her?
I feel like she made me hate myself.
All right. So you don't like the way you felt about yourself, and she reminds you of how you felt about yourself.
Yeah. Everybody in high school is really self-conscious, and you don't need to have another person reaffirming those beliefs all the time. Or just making fun of you all the time, making you hate yourself, making you shame yourself, just everything you do. Her opinion was always the most important opinion, or everybody else was wrong.
But
like the dictator.
Did you kind of feel like her opinion was the most important one?
No, that's why I told her to shut up all the time. Just stop.
When you finally cut her out of your life, was there like a dramatic moment, or did you just ghost her?
Ghost. Just ghost.
Straight up ghost. You
just ghost.
You didn't just be like, don't call me anymore. There was no yelling. There's no screaming. You just thought, today enough is enough.
Yeah, today enough is enough. And then sometimes I would get a phone call like, oh, me and her, we're going to the city. Do you want to come? No. Or me and her together. She says hi. Oh, okay. Never said hi back. Never anything. I had to see her 2 separate times. I was nice. I didn't actually, after I graduated college, I think she was asking, oh, did you get any internships? I said, yeah, I got 2 internships this summer. And her first question after that, not what were they? It was, are you getting paid?
Were you?
Not answering that question. Regardless, not where are your internships?
I want you to know that every time you say regardless, I'm taking a drink of Diet Coke.
Suck my dick.
All right, it's my turn to lay on the couch, and it's your turn to be therapist. Got it?
Hang on, Gabe. We got to pay the bills. Here's our sponsor.
This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp.com. Secure, convenient, and affordable online counseling. All counselors are licensed, accredited professionals. Anything you share is confidential. Schedule secure video or phone sessions, plus chat and text with your therapist whenever you feel it's needed. A month of online therapy often costs less than a single traditional face-to-face session. Go to BetterHelp.com/Psych Central and experience 7 days of free therapy to see if online counseling is right for you. BetterHelp.com/Psych Central.
We are back talking about toxic people and protecting our mental health.
All right, you ready?
Yes.
Okay, so because we're not going to solve your problem from high school when my problem from high school is still lingering.
Fine.
You're going to find this hard to believe, so don't make fun of me.
Mm-hmm.
I was bullied a lot in high school.
Really?
Yeah. Now, don't be mean to me, or you're just that lady from the other story, except in my story. I didn't do well. I didn't do well in high school. And I mean, I did have untreated bipolar disorder. I didn't get along with my family. They tried to punish bipolar disorder out of me. I didn't have a lot of friends. I was fat. I had horrible acne, and I did not play sports. I was a classic underachiever, and my favorite hobby was computers. I loved computers in the 80s and 90s. So
That's awesome.
I mean, it was awesome when it came time to get a job, but it was not awesome when it came time to get a date.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Gotcha.
I was a fat, zit-faced kid with no game or wore clothes that didn't fit, and my hobby was played with computers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, Gabe.
Yeah.
That you paint a really sexy picture right there.
Yeah, it was stunning. Stunningly awful. But I did have a friend, like a really good friend. And we were friends through a lot. We met in middle school, and we were friends in middle school, and we were friends in high school, and we were friends when I graduated high school. And we just been through a lot together, like a lot, like things that I'm like legally not allowed to mention on the podcast because, they're sealed. And we were just there for each other. I mean, he went through a lot of stuff too. I mean, with his family, he went through a lot of stuff. I went through a lot of stuff with my family. We both have, we found out in later years, we had untreated mental illness. So we sort of even had that in common. When I was in the psychiatric hospital, he came to visit me. This is not some low-end friend.
Yeah, this guy seems like a really good friend of yours.
Yeah, you're thinking, when am I going to meet him?
Right.
Yeah,
something must have gone very, very wrong here.
Something
very, very
did go wrong. And I'm honestly to this day not sure what it was. At some point, he started to get just very aggressive. And he would insult pretty much everything that I did. And he would make fun of me.
Why?
I don't know. So I decided, several years ago to be a writer. That's how I ended up with a podcast. That's how I met you. And I started writing about, blogging. I mean, let's call it blogging. That's what it was. I started blogging about my journey with mental illness. And when I started doing that, he just started making fun of me. And he was like, well, blogging is stupid. Anybody can have a blog. Blogging is dumb. And, I thought that was
he on medicine doing this to him?
I mean, no, I don't know. He just thought that writing was dumb. I don't know why.
Why did he become such a dick?
I don't know. And I thought maybe it was like depression. I mean, that it was, that it would just pass. And so I just started the blog, and he would insult it. Occasionally he would read it and point out that, I had grammar mistakes in it, which was true, but he never really would comment on anything other than like, picking it apart. And that just kind of happened, and that was fine. And then eventually a site came along and offered me money. And I was like, hey, I'm getting paid to write. And he was like, well, I don't understand. That's just bullshit. They can do better. I don't know why they're doing this. And, so he wasn't really proud of me or happy for me or anything.
Was it jealousy?
See, that's what a lot of people say, but I have trouble. But like, who would be jealous of me? And I know I'm not fishing for a compliment. I don't understand why anybody would be jealous of me. I didn't have a lot of money. I was writing about living with a horrible disease. I was still kind of estranged from my family. Not a lot, but more than zero. I mean, why would you be jealous of me?
I mean, well, were you getting better and he was getting worse?
I don't think so. He has a master's degree. I never went to college. He had a job that he liked and that he's good at, that he's suited for. There were many things about his life that I was jealous of.
What was going on? I'm so confused.
I honestly don't know. Eventually I got an offer to write for the Stanford Medical Journal, the online edition, which is a real big get for somebody who is not in medicine. And I took it. And it was really hard to write. I'm not a researcher. I'm not a doctor. And it was about the lived experience. And I want to be clear. It wasn't for like the printed Stanford Medical Journal. It was for their website. And I was so proud. I was really proud because, as you know, I want to get the patient experience into as many doctors' brains as possible because I don't think that they understand what people with mental illness go through. It's really easy for them to say things like be med compliant, but I don't think they understand fully why we're not. So I was really proud of this and I worked really, really hard. And his entire attitude was, whatever, it's online. Who cares? Nobody cares. And he just kind of picked it apart. So I started moving away from just telling him about my accomplishments because he was never very supportive. And I tried to focus all of our conversations on like Star Wars and Star Trek and stuff like that, because I didn't get why he wasn't proud of me. And I wanted him to be proud of me. I know that's a messed up thing to say maybe, but I wanted my friend to be happy for me. That's all I wanted. And then Bipolar Magazine came along.
Oh, he was pissed?
Yeah.
He was jealous then. That's jealousy. That is jealousy. He was jealous. You were getting better. You were getting success. And he probably just was like, I'm stuck at my stupid, boring job. Gabe gets to do all this cool stuff. Gabe feels comfortable being bipolar. And he's probably like, I have a mental illness. I don't want to tell anyone about it. I'm scared of it.
Sure. You are not the first person to posit this as a theory, but why would you give up your friend over that? And he was good at his job. He liked his job. I was jealous of him for his job. He was so stable and, again, well-educated, intelligent. I'm not describing somebody that lives in his parents' basement. He has his own stuff. He drives his own car. He lives in his own place. Like I said, he has a master's degree and a great job. He's not, I could maybe see him being jealous of me if, he was making minimum wage and living in his parents' basement, but he wasn't. He was a success in a multitude of ways. We weren't the same type of successful, but he was doing well. I don't understand. All I know is that I couldn't take it. I told him that he hurt my feelings and that I just wanted him to respect all of the work that I put in and all of the effort and all of the energy. Yeah, I just wanted my friend to be proud of me. I did. That's what I wanted him to say. I wanted him to say, wow, Gabe, you did it. You did something that nobody thought you could do, and you did it well. And I am glad to know you. And what he said was instead is that's stupid. Print is dying. I don't even remember, because when I told him that he hurt my feelings, he jumped out of my car. We were driving. I was at a stop sign, a stoplight. He got out of the car and he walked away, and he never called me again. About a year and a half or so after that, I ran into him at the movies. Mm-hmm. And I was actually excited because I thought, and it was a movie that we loved and that we often would go to together. And I said, hey, how are you? And he said, hi. And I tried to talk to him, and
wow,
kind of walked away. And that hurt my feelings all over again.
I don't think he was okay in his head.
Hey, I said the same thing about your friend. Maybe she wasn't okay in her head. Maybe she regrets this friendship. Maybe all of these people are messed up in their own right, and they're the villains in our story, but maybe they're the hero in somebody else's. I don't know. All I know is that I don't have my friend anymore. And I think that sucks. But it was the right thing to do, not chasing him down and begging him to be my friend, because I begged him to be my friend for years. I tolerated him tearing down my efforts, my work, my career, my success for years. When I told him I wanted to be a public speaker, he openly mocked me. And I just took it. This is a guy that never supported me being a speaker and a writer and it took years. I know people see me now and they're like, oh, you got a podcast and you're successful and you're a speaker. Yeah. For a decade, I wasn't. For 7 years, I wasn't. For many years, I wrote for free on a Weebly site. And I was nothing. I was nobody. And then I'd get little successes and drips and drabs. Like I'd get success, I'd get offered something and I'd be so proud of it, and then nothing would happen for another 9 months. And I thought maybe nothing would ever happen. So I put up with him tearing my career down for years. And there is a part of me that wonders why he jumped out of the car and ran away from me.
I think that just proves his issues.
Well, sure.
He didn't want to even do any conflict at all. He probably knew that it was true. If it wasn't true, he would have argued that it wasn't true. But he knew it was true, so he ran away. He ran away from the truth. Doesn't that prove it right there?
Yeah, but he also ran away from me. Like, wasn't I worth it?
He was scared of you.
But of what?
He was obviously just scared of you.
Listen, the only thing that needs to be scared of me are French fries. Like that's it.
He ran away from you because he was scared of you.
Okay, what did he think I was going to do to him?
I don't know, but he was scared of you because you were right.
Intellectually, clearly, if roles were reversed, this is exactly what I'd be saying to you. But this is the thing that sucks. My mental health is better now that he's not here because he was always a nagging negative voice in my life. And there's a lot. Come on, Michelle, you and I do this work. People tell us all the time that we suck. They tell us all the time that we need to get real jobs, that we need to stop it, that podcasts are for losers, blogging is stupid. We don't get a lot of positive reinforcement. Our families, when we told them that we wanted to do this, they were like, oh my God, podcaster. That's what I wanted.
I loved it when my roommate's girlfriend said, does anyone actually listen to podcasts?
Yeah. I remember when somebody said, so how much money do you lose per episode? I was like, no, we make money. And they're like, whatever. They think I'm lying. I'm like, we have sponsors in place. Like, we work really hard. We have a good audience. Like, I'm not saying that we're rich off the podcast, but it's a profitable enterprise. Michelle and I work really, really hard. They think it's a joke. They really do. They still mock us. They have this idea that like we're sitting with our phones like under a trailer recording these shows.
Maybe we are.
Maybe we are.
Maybe we are.
Michelle, it is always great hanging with you. Do we have any takeaway for our listeners? I mean, you and I both had toxic people in our lives, and we are better off that they're gone. But it clearly has still hurt us. You're 30 years old and you're still pissed off at something that happened in high school. I'm a grown-ass man, and I'm still upset that somebody who did nothing but insult me went away. I mean, these are lingering effects, but...
I guess that means we just got to learn how to let go.
But how?
I don't know. I guess somebody might say, why don't you drink some tea?
Drink some tea?
Drink some tea with honey, sir. That'll fix all of your issues.
Who would say that?
Somebody in the comments.
In the comments? I told you, stop reading the comments. That is not the place to get mental health advice.
You need an exorcism, Gabe.
We need an exorcism.
Yeah.
That is another great thing that has happened to people in our community. Michelle, I do think that our listeners like us are probably struggling with some relationships that are not maybe the best. And we need to set better boundaries. And some days I wish that our show was like real therapy where we could tell people how to set better boundaries and how to not let people get to them. But our show is not practical advice. Our show is more like, hey, we've been through it and we survived. And if you're going through it, you can survive too. But I wish we had that magic cure. I wish that somebody listening right now that has a friend that's making them feel bad would be like, tell me what to do. And we'd be like, do this. And then they do it and their life would suddenly get better. But the world's just way too complicated.
Like if someone is not bringing joy to your life, they're only bringing negativity to your life, then like goodbye. Yeah.
That is the sensible thing to do. Why do we hang on to these negative people? I think it's because we remember when they used to be positive. I do. I really do. It's just like my friend. You are like, why are you sad that he is gone? And I'm like, because I remember when he was good. I remember when we were in high school and he was my only friend. And that's hard to get over. And it's times like these that I remember that people can be two things. He can both be the asshole that I'm no longer friends with, and he can also be the guy that got me through my teen years. He was a good friend. He was a really, really good friend right up until the time he wasn't. And it's hard that he occupies both spaces in my life because we think that people have to be one thing. But people can be two things, I guess. When I was in high school, he was the hero, and when I was an adult, he was the villain.
You can't move forward when you're stuck looking backwards.
Hear, hear. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And remember, we need you to do the following things, not necessarily in this order. 1, give us a 5-star review on iTunes and leave a nice comment. 2, whenever you see this posted on Facebook or on Psych Central, leave a comment, start a conversation. 3, go to store.psychcentral.com and buy the official A Bipolar, a Schizophrenic, and a Podcast t-shirt. It is the Define Normal t-shirt, and you can find it at store.psychcentral.com. And finally, don't be afraid to drop us a line at show@psychcentral.com, and we will see everybody next week. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for listening, and tell a friend.
Hey, jealousy.
You've been listening to A Bipolar, a Schizophrenic, and a Podcast. If you love this episode, don't keep it to yourself. Head over to iTunes or your preferred podcast app to subscribe, rate, and review. To work with Gabe, go to gabehoward.com. To work with Michelle, go to schizophrenic.nyc. For free mental health resources and online support groups, head over to psychcentral.com. The show's official website is psychcentral.com/BSP. You can email us at show@psychcentral.com. Thank you for listening, and share widely.